Thank you for coming up here to the Custer Alumni House, the home of the GRCC Foundation. We are so happy that you're here today. That's a nice breeze. We aren't going to complain that things are blowing over. That feels great, doesn't it? Let's let everybody take a seat. And again, thank you so much for being here. Before we begin, I want to make sure that I acknowledge the GRCC Board of Trustees that are here. If you want to wave. GRCC Foundation board members, thank you. I have to say, this group of individuals has been here since 9 o'clock this morning. So they have persevered through here in their service and dedication to GRCC and our community. So thank you for that. I'd also like to recognize any elected officials or retired elected officials that are in the audience today. Thank you. Thank you, Lupe, for being here. And we have President Olivares. President Olivares is here. Yay. Thank you, thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge all the donors in the audience. I see you, and I am so thankful for you. There's so much that you do for GRCC that happens every day that you may not even realize, but we do, and we're so grateful for you. Thank you so very much. It's now my pleasure to introduce you all to the 10th president of Grand Rapids Community College, Dr. Bill Pink.
All right, good afternoon. I know you're tired of hearing from me, but that's okay. Because we have a little more celebration to have happen. It's so good to see folks, and it's good to be able to celebrate. I want to say, first of all, thank you to all of you who have not only stuck around for this morning's festivities, but also last week with the Lakeshore, and then culminating with this celebration here this afternoon. I want a special shout out to our two contractors who helped do phenomenal work. You got to understand, and many of you who've been around, you remember what this building was. You remember Lettinga Hall, right? So when I first came to GRCC, this building, Lettinga, at that point, was used, I'll put it this way. So I remember coming, and I remember saying, what's that house over there? And someone said, well, that's Lettinga Hall. I said, oh, really? What's in there? They said, furniture. Well, that's a big place just to have furniture. Well, yeah, so can I go see it? So I came and I toured it, and you know what? It was furniture. A lot of storage is what this was used for. I remember in coming here, storage, a lot of stuff. So then, as we started talking more about these facilities and the fact that having this house here, as well as Ender Hall, the thing about it is that if you're going to have beautiful facilities, beautiful structures like that, well, what do we do to make sure we take good care of them? How do we maintain them so that not only are they useful for the institution, but that our neighbors here in Heritage Hill can look at those places and see those as points of pride for the community? So then started conversations with Dave Custer. And I remember this, Dave. I remember hearing Dave talk about the idea that, man, it would be nice to be able to have not only a space that would be the home of our foundation, but would truly be an alumni house, somewhere where alum can gather, where we can host alumni events. And then Dave started talking about what Michigan State has, what Western Michigan has. He started going down this list, and Grand Valley, yes. So if you were listening to that, you think, well, wait a minute, Dave, those are all big four-year institutions. Well, that's who Dave Custer is. He sees what possibilities are, and sorry about that, and he doesn't shortcut in saying, oh, but you're just a community college. That's not Dave Custer. Dave Custer is more about, as the community college, how do we make sure we have something that is at the same space or even rivals what you would see at a four-year institution. And that is the dream that Dave Custer had, and that's the dream that you get to see today that has indeed become a reality thanks to Dave and Karen Custer. So thank you for that, Dave. Last time I checked, that's called vision. And we need vision when it comes to leaders. We need vision when it comes to partners. We need vision because without vision, it's truly hard to advance the organization. Big thanks to our partners who've had such hands in the work that you're going to see when you tour this place. Pioneer Construction, big thank you to you guys in the work that you've done and in masterful work, as well as Tower Pinkster, another partner in this. Please give a round of applause for our contractors. This building now will stand as a tool for us at the institution, not only to house a foundation that is so active in this community, but also to have a place where our alum can come, celebrate, socialize, and have not only opportunities to connect, but opportunities to talk more about the good work that happens at this institution. It's hard to do it without good partners like David and Karen Custer, who are so committed to GRCC and have been committed for a long time. And we're grateful for what they mean to this institution and grateful to how they have stayed close to this institution in support of the good work that we do. Now, before I introduce a good friend, Steve Abbott, one of our GRCC retirees as far as faculty is concerned and also a member of our GRCC Foundation board, I will apologize to you because you're going to see me scoot out because for some reason, the governor decided to come to Grand Rapids today, and she decided to come to GRCC today. And so we will be going over to the MTech and hosting the governor as she makes some announcements that she wants to make, and she wanted to do it here in Grand Rapids. And when she reached out to the right place was able to tell her the right place to have that announcement. Did you get that? Did you catch that one? So I'll be scooting out to the MTech to greet the governor and welcome her to the best community college in the country. But before I do that, let me introduce to you a good friend of mine, a good friend of this institution, longtime friend, and a great example of what it means to be a GRCC Raider, Steve Abbott.
I think really Dr. Pink doesn't want to hear me speak. He's heard me before. Oh, good luck. So this is the second time I've been involved with a dedication at one of our buildings here at GRCC, and the first time was the science building, the Calkins Science Center. And on that day, a blizzard pretty much wiped out all of the outdoor activities we were going to do, and so I have all the remarks I was going to make that day. I didn't get to teach the last 6 weeks of the semester in 2020 in person, so I have all of my lectures stored up. First time I've had a captive audience in 18 months, so settle in. No, not really. What Dr. Pink did mention was that I retired a year ago as a faculty member in the social sciences department. But way before that, my connection to Grcc began in the fall of 1973 when I started my post-secondary academic journey here. And Sherry Sokolowski spoke earlier this morning and mentioned, let me see if I got this right, her apathetically attending here. I don't even know if you could classify my attendance as apathetic. My dad registered me for classes here because he told me this is where I was going to go to school, even though I'd been accepted to some of our other premier institutions in the state. And I said, no, Dad, I'm paying my own way. And he says, yeah, I know you are, but you're going to start paying it at Grand Rapids Junior College. So if your parents were involved in World War II, you didn't argue with them very much, so that certainly was true of me. And while I was a little bit beyond apathetic, I am very, very happy that that's where I started this journey. First and foremost, if it wasn't for Grand Rapids Junior College, my kids would not be here because it's where I met their mother in English 101, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. in the West Building, which doesn't even exist anymore for us. Secondly, GRJC and GRCC, I had the best instruction I had of all of my educational journey right here because I had people that cared about the stuff they taught, but they cared about me learning the stuff they taught. And that is sort of rare, especially the further up you go in the numbering sequence of classes. So it was very good that I did end up here. And then in 1993, I returned as a faculty member in the social sciences department, taught economics, served in administration a few times, and retired, as I said, a year ago. So I'm really, really honored to be here to help this process along. And one of the things that I think is most important about it is, as was mentioned, providing a touch space for alumni. And when you think about those four-year institutions, one of the things that they all have is a place where people can gather, a place that is sort of the, on game days or whatever other events they have on those campuses, a place that people just know to go to. And one of the things that we sort of lack in that regard is a central location where alumni can come, where donors can come, where people could host an event, and this facility will serve in those kinds of functions. So I think that's really, really cool. And then just to point out a couple of the things about the space itself, it's completely outfitted with Custer office furniture. Go figure. Who would have thought that we would have done that? But it does speak to something that I used to teach about in economics, and that is buy local. And when you buy local, your dollars stay in the community and regenerate themselves. So I'm really happy that that's what's going to happen. There's a commercial and residential kitchen in the building, so a nice, again, as we said, for hosting events and for doing various things like that. And then formal dining space. So I'm looking forward to all the great foundation meetings being well fed. As you can see, I'm probably, need some food. So just one last note before I turn this back over. GRCC, as you've heard so many different times, if you've been to all four events, is such an important part of our community. And a saying I heard that stuck with me all these years is that GRCC is, for some of our students, their first best hope, but for a lot of our students is their last best hope. So we are a lifeline, and we help those people go to wherever they're trying to get to. We make it happen. Places like this are things that we can use to market to those students and help bring them back to become contributors to our foundation once they've succeeded in life. So thank you for having me here. Congratulations. It's such a great space. And turn it back to you.
Thank you.
You bet.
So Steve Abbott is by far the most awesome alum, the most awesome retired faculty member, the most awesome foundation board member today, right now. He is. And we are so glad that he's here with us today. He supports us in everything that we do, and it does not matter what I call and ask him. He's just like, sure. So I really appreciate him. Now, to somebody that I absolutely appreciate, Dave Custer. Dave Custer, I've been at the college since 2004. I'm pretty sure I'm Dr. Oliveras' best hire. I'm pretty sure. Joke. But I first met Dave in Dr. Oliveras' office. Dave has been with this foundation board for many, many, many years. I think, what did we say, 32 years? He served on the foundation board 32 years. That in itself is phenomenal. I can remember when I first started in this role, having a conversation with Dave about, hey, Dave said, you know what, let's talk. I want to talk about legacy. And let's talk. And so I brought up this Lettinga house that was literally, raccoons lived here. You had to watch where you walked because you would go through the floor down to the next floor. It was pretty chopped up. And I said, I think this could be the foundation home, and I think it could be an alumni house. And he's like, I think it could be. And Karen was like, what? What are you talking about? And it is. It is a fabulous home. And Dave Custer is a fabulous mentor. He's a fabulous advocate and supporter of GRCC and the work of the foundation. And he is by far when it comes to an alum, the biggest cheerleader, because I can't tell you how many events I go to in this community, and every time Dave's at one, the first thing he tells people is, I went to Grand Rapids Junior College. I got my start at Grand Rapids Junior College. And he still does that, even as a foundation board member emeritus. So it is my pleasure to introduce you all to Dave Custer.
Well, this has been a great day. The Wisners and Bottrells being honored. Juan Oliveras, it's so good to see you. Steve Ender, my friend, being honored. I kidded him. He's got a brick building, and I got a wood one. But they both are cool. Steve and I raised a lot of money together, as did Juan and I, too. So it's so good to see them and have them. And it's good to see Mr. Showalter here, the head of Pioneer Construction, who just did a great job on both these buildings, and we're glad you're here. GRCC or junior college does mean the world to me. Many of you have heard my story. My dad had a neighborhood grocery store, and all of a sudden Plum Supermarket at Boston Square, Plum Supermarket came in, and Meyer Thrifty Acres built their first store on 28th Street and Kalamazoo, which is 4 miles from Boston Square. So my dad's 58 and he's out of a job. And that's right about the time I was ready to go to college. So they sure couldn't afford a 4-year college. So I went here and I just had a great job. I was president of a fraternity. We raised a lot of hell and some good sororities, and I played on the tennis team, and it just was a great experience. And then I went on to Western Michigan. But many of you had heard me, all right, thanks, Steve. Many of you have heard me say, I don't know what this community would do without a community college. And think about it. There's 25% or more of our classes are remedial. Grand Valley and Michigan State, and they don't want to mess around with that. We're the only school that has trades schooling tied into MTech, but we train welders and people like that. The other schools don't do that. So I don't know what we'd do without this. There's a lot of people that can't afford to go away. Some people aren't ready to go away. They're 18 years old and they're not ready to go to East Lansing or some other place. So this is just a perfect place, and it's dear to my heart. So Bill talked about we do need a place for the foundation office and alumni to gather. Michigan State is Cole's house. It's right across from the Student Union. It was the home of the first president of Michigan State, and then through the successors like John Hanna and all these people, they lived there. And now they turned it into what we've done here. Western Michigan University had, it's called Heritage Hall. It's a beautiful old building. It was built, I think, opened in 1903. And it was a grade school, elementary school back then, for the professors that lived nearby the campus for their kids to go to school, and they could walk to school. And then I was on their foundation board about 10 years ago. We turned that into just like this. Without this, Bill and Kathy, if they were to entertain somebody, donors or alumni, it'd have to be in their conference room. And what a difference as you walk through here and you see what a great place is to have to do those kind of things. So I'm just thankful for this school. I'm thankful that we had a chance to get involved here, and thankful for my experience at the community college. And thank all of you for coming. It's been a great day.
Thank you, Dave. As Dr. Pink indicated, your vision, we thank you for your vision. This was your vision. And Steve, he had the opportunity to take the brick house. He chose the wood house. So now is the important time. Now's the time when we get to cut the ribbon for this event. So I'm going to ask that Dave and Karen come forward. Steve Abbott, all of our foundation board members, GRCC board members, yep. The Custer family, please come forward. President Emeritus Dr. Ender and President Emeritus Dr. Oliveras, please come forward, and let's get this ribbon cut.